sababu hivi nacheka kitoto angalau kwa siku mara 7. Smile yako doli mina hema ukinishika ndo tabu na jicho lako mboni sina tena moyo umekufa hapa. When do my pill, I'm addicted to your love and I'm done when you're with me, baby love. Everything feels alright. Una rangi ya kunde, nywele za shombe, sauti ulimi wa kuteleza, kifua cha tembe, mwili wa denge, mboni na macho za kulegeza. And when you walk, miguu yako minapenda. And when you say you love me twice, everything feels alright. And when you walk, miguu yako minapenda. And when you say you love me as twice, everything feels alright. Slow me, mwendo wako taratibu, yeah. Slow me, unavyotembea kinyonga. Slow me, tabasamu yako tamu asali, yeah. Slow, baby you slow me down. Ooh, baby you slow me down, yeah. You're the first thing that I think of. Baby, you're the one I'ma call home. You're the only one I'ma give time. You're the only one, yeah, you're the only one. You're the first thing that I think of. Baby, you're the one that I call home. You're the only one that I give time. You're the only one, yeah, you're the only one. And when you walk, miguu yako minapenda. And when you say you love me twice, everything feels alright. Slow me, mwendo wako taratibu, yeah. Slow me, unavyotembea kinyonga. Slow me, tabasamu yako tamu asali, yeah. Slow, baby you slow me down.
It's that time of the week where the hottest Kenyan millennials jazz up your afternoon with their refreshing live talk show. You are now tuned in to the 254 Millennial Talk.
It's not even my birthday.
Yeah, but
Right. I got to my lo-fi bits. I think we could. It's Namlokia guys, and welcome back to yet another episode of the 254 Millennial Talk. Hopefully, you are having a wonderful time, wherever you are. At least the cold weather seems to be going away. I hope it goes away because I bloody hate cold weather. And yes. So hopefully everyone is good. Ruru, for once you've come on my show. But I can see she's on the listeners. Oh, but they're frank, on my show we may notice we have listeners from different countries. So
yes,
maintain English.
yeah.
All right. Wait. Kwa nini OBS inasema, why is OBS not saying not responding? Oh, okay. I don't know why it was saying that, but it had freaked me out there for a minute. But hopefully everyone has been okay. As you know, this show is sponsored by Skillshare. You know, if you want to learn something new, if you want to, learn how to make awesome intermissions like the ones you see on this on the show, if you want to make awesome transitions, if you want to be good at editing videos, if you want to be a gymnastic, I don't know. Like, I just think that Skillshare has pretty much every tutorial you could think of on this earth for you. So be sure to join Skillshare using our link in the description box. You should get yourself a free month of Skillshare Premium, so you can watch all the content you want without any form of payment. And of course, when you sign up, it's going to ask you for a credit card, so you can just get in there, watch what you need to watch, download what you need to download if you can, and you can cancel the thing. So yes, for the people listening on YouTube, remember this show is always converted to a podcast, so you can find us. Just make sure you follow us on Spotify or follow us on whatever platform you listen, whatever platform you choose to listen podcasts on. So Google Podcasts, Mixcloud, Apple Music, iTunes, Apple Music and iTunes, the same thing. Spotify, all these sites, I'm pretty sure you will find our podcast there. So just make sure to follow. And for the guys listening on Spotify, for the guy listening on like all these other podcast platforms, remember this is a live show. If you want to be a part of the community, just make sure you join our Discord server, and it's linktree.ee/254 Millennial Talk, and you should find a link to everything, our Instagram, our Discord, everything. Yes. So today, of course, Andy Shuffle is back because of the topic today. Andy, you wanna say hi?
Thanks for the invitation. Greetings to everyone, and karibuni.
Always good to have you back, Andy. And we have Biohazard Entertainment, Mr. Frankenstein. I think he was here a long time ago, but Frankenstein.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you for inviting me, and I hope everybody enjoys the show.
All right. I don't think there's anything else I'm missing. So yes, Intel versus AMD versus NVIDIA. I'm assuming that maybe you might be a console player, or you might be someone who just wants to get into PC gaming. And all of these companies can become kind of confusing. All these products being offered by these three companies, these are the most dominant ones, or the products they make are the most important when it comes to gaming. So I understand that sometimes it can be a little bit confusing, especially if you're not as tech savvy as some of us. So that's why we're talking about this topic today, and that's why Andy is here, because he's been building computers. Just make sure to go check Shuffle PCs out. He's if you are a gamer in the PC community, I'm pretty sure you know Andy Shuffle. Most people know him, so I think I can pull up his website right now on the screen. Just give me a second. Shuffle PCs. So Andy builds PCs. So if you're not into the tech savviness, he can also be a very good guy to consult, and just explain to him what you want with your PC, and he will be sure to help you out. So first of all, I think we need to define like what these companies primarily do, or why they are known. So if we start with Intel is primarily a CPU company, isn't it?
Yes.
So CPU meaning the central processing unit in your computer. So Intel is the most famous one. I think everyone is familiar with Intel. AMD is the one that people maybe might not know, but Intel makes CPUs. Most laptops are Intel based. Most second-hand computers I've even seen people using in cyber caves and all these places are Intel. It's been there. It's been there for a long time. They've enjoyed a monopoly, but of late, because of the slump in innovation, AMD has caught up with them, and at least for now we have more options, because Intel was really messing us up as consumers. So
Actually, if I just throw in a bit of just quick info, Intel has been around for like almost 50 years. Those guys are like the OG of making CPUs, because they're like one of the first guys who just started making like processors that could do everything in one package. So funny thing, AMD was like let's say like a supplier of Intel stuff, because initially they would get like Intel technologies and then they resell. And at some point, they went different ways because Intel refused to give out their technology. And yeah, that's how they've been rivals up to date. And yeah.
Wait,
quite a
AMD invented the 64-bit architectures, indeed, if I'm not wrong. Was it
I
AMD
think
or was it like a joint thing?
The architecture was already there. Like the 64-bit CPUs. Ideally, it's like a CPU which can process like 64 instructions at once. Yeah. So yeah, they've all just been making like under the architecture of the 64-bit, and then the initial ones are 32, and yeah.
So Jesse Jones is saying we might have a third player in the market, namely Qualcomm. But yeah, for now we are talking about PC gaming. So Qualcomm makes ARM-based processors. ARM-based processors are the ones you find on your phone. So they have a lower instruction set, which makes them very efficient in like learning with low power. Like that's why they are very common in smartphones. But they're very capable. Of course, Apple being a very good example. With the M1 chip, Apple made an ARM-based chip that can run a full desktop OS. So we haven't gotten there, but I wouldn't necessarily say there's no one out there who's actually going to buy a Qualcomm CPU right now. So they might be a player, but they still have we are still not at that point where ARM is such a big technology, like compared to that 2-bit architecture and 64-bit. So yeah, that's Intel, and of course they recently also started making GPUs. We are supposed to see their graphics cards. So when you say GPUs, we mean graphics cards. When we say CPUs, we mean the processors. So they're also their GPUs, because if you have like an Intel-based CPU laptop, you probably saw the Intel graphics thing. So based off those technologies, they're trying to venture into the desktop market, which is a good thing for all of us, because competition only makes it a healthy environment for consumers to buy products. So AMD, as you've heard from Andy has given us a very good history of the two. But also AMD makes CPUs and is kinda dominating the market right now because they have very good CPUs. They've also been making graphics processors, so GPUs. Yeah. So Andy, do you have anything to add on the AMD side of things?
AMD's okay. Not much to say. I'm just excited about the Intel GPUs coming soon. So yeah, we're waiting to see what they'll come up with, and at least maybe this I don't know, would I call it a drought, GPU drought? Everyone is looking for GPUs. Oh man, it's tough.
If you don't know, man, if you're not in the loop, yo, man, like ever since the pandemic began, there's been a shortage of silicon everywhere on this fucking planet, and electronics are becoming more expensive because especially the biggest silicon manufacturer, or the biggest company that makes those wafers, I don't know, they're called wafers or something, Qualcomm, I heard they're about to raise their prices on the CPU things, so it's about to get nasty. So it's not good. But generally the things are in low supply. There's cryptocurrency mining, which is also affecting. So generally not a very good time to buy this stuff. But it doesn't stop us from talking about it anyway, because this video might be helpful in future. So now we have NVIDIA. NVIDIA, I think NVIDIA became NVIDIA because they bought 3DFX. Sindio? That was the company back in the day, because I was seeing the history, that was really making and then like it was really making like big innovations, and then I don't know what happened. Is like they were going broke, and then NVIDIA bought them, and then from there that's when you can see like a very like dominance. Like we can see a market dominance by NVIDIA. So maybe something like
Yeah.
maybe the development team that was in 3DFX or like on that time, maybe they were really good at making graphics cards. But NVIDIA is the most dominant player at the current moment in terms of graphics cards. They recently acquired ARM, so those mobile processors, like that technology, they acquired their company. So I don't know what they're going to do with that ARM thing, but let's see. Maybe you'll see a console made by NVIDIA very soon, like a full, I don't know, console running an ARM processor and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe I think there's a bit of like let's say like a monopoly. Guys were saying that if I think the deal hasn't yet gone through for the company. Yeah, but if it goes through, NVIDIA could essentially be like a monopoly in the technology space. Because those guys, they own the rights like for the ARM architecture, which is used for Qualcomm, these
The
Apple
M1
processors,
chips,
the new
yeah.
M1s. Yeah, so guys are against it quite a bit.
Yeah, man, NVIDIA, fucking hell, man. This capitalism is, sometimes it sucks.
Yeah, because even I think some consoles run on NVIDIA graphics cards. Like I think the PlayStation 4 does.
Nope, that's a bloody lie. That's a lie. Nope. All consoles run on AMD APUs.
Yeah, so far.
So far, yes, so far. But wait, Frank, do your research, man, before you say something. That's not the truth. So NVIDIA is very expensive. That's why even Apple doesn't use them. Apple supports a lot of AMD stuff. So, and these are the things like we need to like talk about on the show, you know, because you might be a gamer, but you know on the side you're doing something else that is computer related. So the computer you choose to buy, you know, like you have to really think about it. Like, what are you using this computer for? Is it gaming only? Are you a programmer? Are you a content creator? Are you just a casual person? So these are the things like, you know, you need to factor in. So for me, Andy, I think you can say like for gaming, like what is the best combo you would recommend in terms of gaming, like in terms of friendly price, like a GPU that you know can last like a long time, you know. What combo would you maybe recommend someone to go with right now at the current moment?
Okay. Are we speaking in a hypothetical situation where
Hypothetical
everything
situation where everything is good.
Yeah. Okay. So currently, I think I just say just go AMD like for the CPUs, and you can go for like NVIDIA. If
Why would you say like why would you recommend someone to go for AMD?
So I'd say for most budget gamers, you find that you want a PC that you can use and upgrade over time, which is something that Intel hasn't been offering for a very, very long time. Before, you'd find that you buy an Intel CPU for this generation. Next generation, you buy a whole other machine. Change your motherboard, change your CPU, throw them away or give them out. But now, from AMD, I think from 2017, when the Ryzen processors just started selling, so you could get a motherboard and use the same thing up to date, like just the same platform. You just swap out the CPU, unaendelea kutumia, update the software, and you're good to go.
Oh, okay.
Now, yeah, for the graphics cards, these NVIDIA cards, I think one of the biggest advantages, what's it called? NVENC encoder.
Encoder.
Yeah, because it's really good for streaming, and I'm assuming most guys today have gone to like online gaming and streaming. So,
But would you
it-
but if the gamer, let me just ask you this: if the gamer isn't necessarily interested in streaming, they just want to play games, would you still recommend NVIDIA in that case?
yeah, because of drivers, anybody who has used, yeah,
Yeah, actually, I was to
Uh,
ask you that. Like, I've had people complain that in AMD GPU drivers like are very terrible. They tend to have issues. So
I just say they're temperamental. One day it'll work, and then the next utapata shida. So these problems just start popping up one by one, and you have to do a lot of research just to solve or look for something for a solution so that you continue gaming.
well, okay, but
Not to say that they are bad products. They're really good products, by the way. When it works really good. But once in a while, you'll get a few problems here and there.
would you say that's the case for AMD CPUs? Like, do AMD CPUs give you problems compared to Intel ones? Like in terms of BIOS configurations and all this weird stuff.
Okay. Let's just take it from, like, let's say a budget gamer who's getting into like the entry level PCs. So ideally, you'd be going for second-hand parts. So first gen Ryzen was questionable. Had a lot of memory issues, stability. But second gen onwards has been really good. So if you want to buy to build a PC, cheap PC, start from second gen. Yeah, and going forward, you can upgrade to third gen. You can go to fourth gen, and you'll be good. This like Ryzen 5600, one of the best CPUs I've used for gaming. Although, yeah, since the AMD caught up in terms of performance, they also bumped up the price a bit.
What was
Quite
the
low.
average? Like, what was the what's the? Let me even check on Amazon. There's no even need of like bothering you. You can just check right now. So Jesse Jones on the comment section is saying smart memory access. So that's the AMD feature which allows you to like the CPU will share the same memory with the graphics card. Is that feature?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Is it that important?
Yeah, the feature where AMD said now the GPUs will now be able to access like like the data from the CPU as a whole data rather than accessing it in small packets as opposed to how it was done before.
Wait, Andy, I can see these 5600X are like 30,000. If I convert this to $72, I think this is like 30,000 Kenya shillings. So is this the price? If you factor in shipping and all that stuff, what will be the average price here?
Okay. Let's say it would be around Kenyan shillings, roughly 35 to 38.
Oh, okay.
That is if you use like these DHL. If you use these other routes, zile za nyuma, yeah, you'll get it cheaper. But ideally, you should be budgeting maybe 35 to 38.
All
And
right.
I actually see now it's on offer because before it was actually the 300 and around 310.
Wait, let me ask you. So why exactly would you recommend the 5600? Is it because of the high amount of cores? Because I can see, especially the variant I'm seeing on the screen right now is a 5600X with 6 cores and 12 threads.
Yeah. So I can just start off from the previous gen AMDs, the 2600, 3600. One of the major problems they had was that they couldn't access the it's called the cache memory. So this was improved upon in this current gen 5600X. So in terms of latency, memory latency, It's quite low. So that's how AMD caught up with Intel and even surpassed them. So if you look at an Intel of the same price, maybe i7 11700 or something like similar or faster than.
You're
And
saying an
in
Intel
terms
what?
of,
An Intel what? Okay, let me
let's
look at
say
the equivalent. Let me look. Intel.
i7 11700K, I guess. Yes.
That's the comparable one to this one.
Yeah. So you see, in
i7
terms of
1100K.
so you find that the 11700
Sorry. Anyway.
okay.
Sorry for that, guys. Sorry. I used the number pad. I know the number pad changes transitions on my screen, so sorry for that. Okay, you were saying? Sorry. You need to
Okay,
repeat that point again.
So okay, you just give us a go ahead when you continue.
No, continue. I'm good now.
So in terms of just physical cores and the 11700 and the 5600X, you find the 6 cores, 12 threads will kind of beat the 8 cores because someone at that level wants to game stream, and also you'll be doing a bit of content creation. So you render your videos and whatnot. Compared to the eight physical cores, you're getting a better deal, even price wise.
Yeah. But then when you say when you say like 6 core 12 threads, that means like when you check on your task manager, you'll actually see 12 logical processors, right?
Yeah.
It's 6, yes, but it's what is this thing called? Multi-threading or hyper-threading or something. Yeah, so I don't know, but the core count, for me, what I will say is of something I've observed, because me, right now, I still use a 4th gen. I would say if you're a pure gamer, I think even Linus Tech Tips did a video and said that 4 cores is enough if you're like a gamer. You don't do any other stuff other than gaming. So, but like Andy has said, AMD by there right now is offering you some deals which are like insane. Like you can even buy the older. Wait, can you buy like a 3600? Let me see. Let me look at a 3600 and see the price.
Yes, you can. Actually,
see.
that's like the base process I use. The Ryzen 3600. It's a really
So
good
good.
value for money.
Yeah.
27. I see it's actually the same price. But yeah, man, I think you can just buy a 3600, but like don't feel like if you're only gaming, I would say that you can also choose an Intel platform. That is if you're not like, if someone maybe is offering their because I even saw Linus saying if someone is offering their old maybe i7 that is 4 core 8 threads, just take it, because gaming is not as demanding. But I would say some games right now are very like Warzone is a good example. If you don't have more than 6 cores, that game really chugs up your CPU. So yeah, but if you plan on doing something other than gaming, like content creation, and you have virtual machines, you're a programmer, I would say go for a higher core CPU, because you don't want to be, you're doing something, your applications are suffering in terms of like CPU usage, because you find like there's one app using so much CPU. So when you say one app using so much CPU, we just mean like one app is utilizing almost all the cores on its own, and then you see it's not sharing resources evenly, so it tends to affect the performance of your game. Because me, I experienced that with Warzone with my 4-core CPU. I tried streaming it and I noticed that it's chugging, like it's having a hard time streaming Warzone, but it's streaming other games. But when I came to Warzone, it just kept giving me problems. So those are the things. Like consider. So when we say cores, we just mean like the logical processors. When you open your task manager, and I don't know if it, let me just demonstrate this right now. So if you open your task manager and then you go to your performance, and then you go to your CPU, right click and say change graph to logical processors. So you can actually see like the processors running. So will you say like clock speeds matter as much, Andy? Do clock speeds matter that much?
These days I don't think so, because let's say the per core performance has just improved to a point that the average user, you'll just have, if you just buy anything current gen, it'll work through anything. They're that good. These days, even the i3s, let's say you can put an i3 11th gen and it has 4 cores, 8 threads. That used to be i7 back in the day, like the 4th gen, like the one which you have.
Intel. You see what monopolies are bad, man. Hey,
Yeah,
dude, Intel was squeezing us, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, those days are saying anything over 4 cores, that's now premium. You have to pay like $500.
And you know the absurd thing is, you remember like the Xeon processor, some of them are even like 12 cores. Dude, like there's an AMD processor that is 12 cores that is 50,000 Kenya shillings. And not only 12 cores, it has double the threads, like it's 24 threads. And like it's almost like a server, dude. And there's like 24 cores. I don't know, dude, like AMD has really come to save us, man. Like right now, we just thank God for Lisa Su, the CEO, the lady, the CEO of AMD right now, because, dude, Intel was really fucking us up. You were saying something, Andy, before I got all jumbled up with that thought.
If I just look back at Intel, I remember like they had this line for like their premium high-end desktop what's the HEDT, high-end desktop machines. So those ones were like you pay like $1,000 plus, and you're told like this is now the best processor you can get for the money. And then now AMD comes with something, the 12 cores Ryzen 9s, and they're like 50k. They're saying,
they're like, and
so
for corporation by the 50k for you might be big, but if we are talking about corporations that own servers, so they make profits in the millions. So to them, $500 is nothing to them.
And to find that you can buy like something like that these days and use it on your machine at home and it's affordable. Yeah, good times to be here.
Yeah, man, like it's crazy right now. By there, I would say just lean on AMD, man. Intel can go eat a dick, because my God, that's what even prompted Apple to switch from Intel to their own in-house things, because Intel was just slumping. They were doing nothing. They were just maximizing profits. You know, the typical capitalist bullshit that we see happening to every company once they become big and all. So consumer, you should promote competition. This is why I even hate KPLC as a monopoly. That's why we usually get power problems every time, because there is no other company competing to supply electricity. So they just are reluctant in providing the best services they can. So competition is very healthy for consumers at the end of the day, because you're the ones who benefit. Because I mean, like right now, look at the bundles situation. Like Telcom came through, and now you see Safaricom had to bring competitive prices, because I mean Telcom is offering you, and still I would still say buy Telcom bundles. Don't waste your time buying Safaricom bundles, because they are hella expensive.
Yeah, Telcom bundles are really good.
So yeah, but right now, if I would say, if you're planning to buy, just especially the APUs, dude, there was a laptop I was changing I was placing a product key for the office, like for the installation of Office he had. Dude, this laptop came from the US. It was like an idea pad that was like 30k. This thing had 8 cores and an AMD and any AMD like Vega APU. So APU, you mean like the graphics card integrated in your CPU. So most desktops, if you ever notice, if you plug in your VGA cable, it will display, and that's most Intel desktops. So they have like a graphics card within them. So AMD was not known for that, but they've recently started doing that a lot. And a good example of a very powerful APU is like the consoles, and now this new thing, the Steam Deck. It was called the Steam Deck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, this thing is
That's a
running.
really awesome product.
Yeah, this thing is running Control. I was like, what? This thing is running. My computer was struggling to run that game. Something small like this is being hey. So this one is why I'm even like excited for APUs in like the integrated graphics cards. Is because you see something like a Stream Deck, it's like a PC generally. It's treated like a PC. So people who are not like tech savvy as much can just buy one and install Steam and you can still play with them. And also, like that laptop I've told you, that laptop was 30K, dude. Imagine how many people can afford laptops which are 30K in this country. You see, you're bringing now gaming to all of these people who are like, yo, man, I want to get into PC gaming, but dude, I just can't. It's expensive. Now you see AMD, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, thank AMD, because when that APU thing matures, dude, I shit you not.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, man, we're going to have like the best time of our lives. So, dude, AMD, keep doing your thing and don't get too greedy. My fucking God, I don't even. Eventually they will, but for now, they're like the best company, like in terms of they're doing just things for us as gamers and geeks. So yeah, so for CPUs, I will just say for right now, just buy an AMD. But if why the fuck would you buy an Intel? Just buy an AMD. If you're planning to build a PC, or if you don't have the money to buy a desktop, look for a laptop with an AMD and look for something like a tag like Vega Graphics or something. Let me look.
Yeah.
Look for that tag on the laptop.
It should be, I think, AMD 40 from the 4th generation kind of processors. I'll look for the models.
Yeah. Maybe you can look for. I think maybe you can list them on the general chat. Maybe people can go look for them. But this just goes to show, that like you don't need very high expensive things to game. I mean, you can always start, because a lot of people. I'm sure there's people who started out with laptops. So me of the day the better. So. Yeah, so for CPUs, we've said AMD for now. So we never know. Intel might catch up again. But for now, just buy AMD. So let's head on to the graphics cards. And there was one last thing I wanted to say. If you are a content creator, there's absolutely no way you'll choose Intel over AMD, especially if you do things like me. Like I do CG. So there's these new softwares I've been trying out. And there's this one called Houdini. Surprisingly, coincidentally, there's a chick called Houdini on Discord. I think she's listening right now. But Houdini FX is a simulation software. So simulations, if you don't know, are these things that are real world physics. So air, water, sand particles, breakage, explosions, all of these things. So those things tend to be, most of the times, I would say 80% of the times, they're calculated on your CPU. So if you have a CPU with higher core counts, like those Threadrippers from AMD, those 32 core beasts, the better you'll have a good time. So generally, if you're a content creator, just make sure you have more cores. Like if you plan to be gaming and also streaming, more cores for you. Because right now, I don't think Intel will offer you like that flexibility of, especially the multi-threading thing for AMD is just awesome, man. So just buy an AMD CPU with the more cores. So let's head on to the graphics card. Andy, you're saying?
There's something I've just thought about. Budget gamers, guys who are going for second-hand stuff. Most of the time you'll find you have a budget of 50K and you have to buy a machine to use. You'll find these HP, Dells, XUK machines in the market. So ideally, that's the most accessible, and most of them will be using Intel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd advise guys to just look for something maybe 6th, 7th gen and above. I think you'll be okay. Because the first ones were the never buy like the first Intels. I think they were the Nelham series. So the first i7s 920 guys usually you're told that it's an i7 unafurai, you're very happy.
Yeah.
And those were actually not too good. And second gen and above, okay, but I'd advise get something sixth Intel 6th gen and above, and you'll be good.
All right. Hope you've had. So let me read the comment section. Slat is saying Andy Shuffle sounds like a guy who would always have a watch in school.
And then
Jesse Jones is saying, though AMD is still fucking us up, they have started making GPUs and selling them directly. Miners, banner. Miners. So the GPU miners, these guys mining cryptocurrency.
And just to add, AMD also, I think, normally takes advantage of the dual channel memory.
What, the AMD?
Yeah, AMD CPUs normally perform well in dual channel memory as compared to the Intel CPUs.
But those are like super technical stuff. I think some of this stuff you just have to do research on your own, because it's kind of it's one of those like scientific topics that can really span along this. So just watch Linus Tech Tips if you really want to go like into the nitty-gritty stuff. Like maybe we've said 8 cores and you don't understand what cores are. There's this channel where they have like this channel, they explain stuff. It's called what?
Tech Quickie.
Tech Quickie. Just go to Tech Quickie and look for whatever explanation you need about whatever you've had us say. So some of those terms are just overwhelm you with so much information that it becomes like even useless. You just end up being confused and you can't even buy. So GPUs. Let's go now to the thing. GPUs, graphics cards. Of course, Andy has said NVIDIA. I mean, if you ask me to, I will also say NVIDIA, because I would say NVIDIA. I have reasons as to why I would say NVIDIA. For me, I'm a content creator, and like you've said, Andy, NVENC. Right now, I'm not streaming using my CPU. I'm streaming using the graphics card. So, and that's because the NVENC encoder is enabled on most NVIDIA graphics cards that are like from the GTX 9 series and above, I think.
Should be 16 from 1650 Super.
Yeah.
And above. Yeah.
So the NVENC encoder, basically what the encoder does, it just because graphics cards, like a graphics card has CPUs. It's just that the CPUs in a graphics card, I don't know, they're called parallel computing or something. There's something they do different compared to the CPU on your processor. Like the CPUs in your processor are different with the ones on your graphics cards. So the ones in your graphics cards tend to be so many. So people have found ways, and that's why people mine using your graphics cards. People have found way to convert their tasks in a way that they can be processed with the graphics cards. So those things like NVENC, they're just encoders. They're basically accelerators that help in decoding. So smoother videos, smoother frame rates. So these are the things that those encoders help with. So Andy, do you have anything to add on that? Or maybe...
I was just about to give you a challenge. Just say parallel 5 times in a row.
Parallel.
It's not going to happen.
It's going to be a problem saying that parallel. But yeah, parallel computing. But yeah, man. So yeah, for me, and also I will say this. Like, okay, if you're a gamer, it doesn't mean that you can't. Dude, I know people. Pitches uses an AMD cards. You're the one who builds Pitches. So I've never had Pitches complain about her GPU. So It doesn't mean that AMD GPUs are bad. But then which one will you recommend from AMD right now that is budget friendly?
Okay, I think the best card which they had would have been the RX 580. That was like the budget king card, bang to back card, because you could game 1080p and also, it just had the computing power and was around, let's say, around $200. On its lowest, it could go up to like maybe $160, and you had a good card. Currently, we haven't gotten any chance to try these new 6600 XT. Those things are non-existent.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the Slat is asking, what's the biggest misconception you've noticed with people who want a PC built by you?
When it comes to graphics cards, guys usually look for the highest, like the highest card. They like somebody comes to you, tells you I want an i3 and like 3090. So guys think that if you have the biggest card, uko tu sawa, like you'll be okay. But you have to balance it out. Get a good GPU, get a good CPU.
Yeah.
Balance it out properly.
All right. So you've heard, guys. So don't slump. Don't slack on your CPU and then spend all your money on your graphics cards. So balancing act, as all things should be. So just Jones is saying GPU now ni AMD na and Adi mkataya aje performance to price, that is. I don't know. Me, I'm not I only used an AMD GPU once, so I'm not so sure. Like, I'm not so sure with the GPUs. I'm not very like sure in terms of pricing. That is.
Yeah.
I think AMD's challenge was in terms of like they were really power hungry, the earlier ones.
I was actually to ask you that. Like, I've heard people say AMD cards pull a lot of power. So,
if you were there during like the, I don't know, was it the 4890? Yeah, 4790.
Oh my god!
Those days you had like dual GPU cards on a single card, and those things would run hot. Like you'd find your GPU running at 100 degrees, and you're told, that's normal. Iko sawa tu. It's going to 100, 110, and you're told that is normal. Just use it as it is. And at the same time, NVIDIA had like some better cards at the on the other side. Performance-wise were also slightly faster, but they were competing. So
I think I would say the situation on GPUs in regarding to NVIDIA, and I think NVIDIA has been ahead for a long time. I just think AMD have good cards, but like in terms of reliability and performance, NVIDIA they're still there, man. They're still on top. I think that is what I would say.
NVIDIA built the company ground up from graphics cards, so it's expected that they're good at it.
They're good, very good at it. So there's one story me I would recommend, other than the encoder, is especially NVIDIA has features. Is G-Sync and FreeSync, like, are they equal? Like G-Sync is a technology that sometimes your screen tears. So when your screen tears, what is happening is your refresh rate is basically fighting with your frame rate. So you might have a frame rate of 120, but your refresh rate is like 60. So you find that your monitor is having issues sometimes. I don't know how I can explain it, but I've never seen that on my monitors, because my monitors are 60 hertz still. But even if like I game a game that has a lot of frame rates, I've not seen that screen tearing. But I've seen it on someone else's monitor. I saw it it's like lines. It's like stutters, like lines that spike up on your screen sometimes. So basically G-Sync and FreeSync try to balance it out. Like they do some magic behind the screen to like make those things disappear. So as I was asking Andy, like, would you compare G-Sync and FreeSync? Would you say it's on equal terms or G-Sync is better? G-Sync from NVIDIA, by the way. FreeSync is from AMD.
I think these days you'd say they're comparable because it used to be like G-Sync was like a premium. So if you wanted a G-Sync compatible monitor, you had to pay more. And so NVIDIA, AMD, I think they came up with the FreeSync, which is like open source. And yeah, these days you find even NVIDIA graphics cards support FreeSync. There's not much to say, like they're different. Both of them are just okay. Yeah.
Okay. So another thing I would say is ray tracing. Ray tracing is, I would say, for gaming, I don't think it's that important because there's no so much of a difference. But for 3D animators like me, dude, there's renderers that use NVIDIA optics. Not ray tracing, NVIDIA optics, which is like part bundled up with that ray tracing thing. And straight up, they won't render with your graphics cards if it doesn't support like those features. So if you're doing some stuff like the stuff I'm doing, there's no effing way you are buying an AMD card, because actually there's even, I think NVIDIA acquired this renderer that used to be called Mental Ray. I think they changed it to NVIDIA iRay or something. So it is like an old one we used to. I think that's when they like they skyrocketed like the ray tracing thing, because it was sudden that like, oh, we are now supporting real-time ray tracing. So I found it like it's not so much of a coincidence, because they had just bought the renderer like 2 years prior. So but Mental Ray used to do ray tracing. Most renderers switched from ray tracing to path tracing. I'll post a video on my Discord explaining, or just like a video of a 3D artist explaining how that path tracing and ray tracing works. But you're better off using an NVIDIA graphics card, because from what I've seen, sometimes AMD graphics cards, because of like those features are not supported by most of these softwares. You find that sometimes you just try, but it just gives you problems. So if you are really like a content creator, or someone who like edits a lot, someone who does 3D animation a lot, there is no effing way I'm going to recommend AMD for you right now. Just use NVIDIA. Use NVIDIA because NVIDIA has like features and just superior features that AMD I still think have a long way to go before they catch up.
Yeah.
So yeah, especially I think NVIDIA optics is like the denoiser. I've seen it in Blender a lot, like as demonstrations being used in Blender. Also another thing, the thing I would say is sometimes the software is as important as the hardware. Some softwares are just not optimized. Yeah. So especially because for me, what I've seen is Resolve. A good example is Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve. So these are two editing platforms, right? So the thing that made me hate Premiere Pro, because I used to use Premiere Pro, and I remember like anytime I fed it the footage from my camera, it used to chug. And I used to wonder, my guy, see, I have a graphics card, I have a processor, what's up with this software? And then I realized it's this bloody thing that is not even utilizing your hardware. You see? So I used to think that it's my computer that has a problem. Kumbe, it's the software, you know. So when I switched to Resolve, I realized, this thing is actually using the GPU. Like this thing is using the graphics card proper. Like even when you're rendering, you can hear your graphics card spinning up. So I was like, man, this is what I paid for. You see? So these are the things to consider. Sometimes it's the software that is not optimized. So it's not that there's a specific brand that is bad. It's just that sometimes some of the games, some of the software you're running, you'll find that it's not even optimized to like use the hardware, because you can splurge all the money you want on hardware, but if you have a poorly optimized game or a poorly optimized graphics card, or not graphics card, at the end of the day, no matter which platform you are using, you just find that it's going to have problems. And this is why Apple tends to be closed source with their stuff, because they know when you optimize. Because I've seen DJs run on MacBooks, and I ask them, like, why do you people use MacBooks? Can you just can't buy Alienwares and all that stuff? And most times they just say, dude, these things just run good. They never give me problems. Yes, you see, it just works. So sometimes the software is the culprit. It's not at the brand. You see, because yeah, man. Dude, the Premiere Pro. People complained. They recently introduced the hardware acceleration, but people had complained for a long time that this thing is rendering. I mean, even Marcus HD, like Marcus Brownlee from MKBHD said this. Like that's why he switched to Final Cut. And mind you, MacBooks use an AMD GPU. They don't use an NVIDIA GPU. So not because I'm saying because don't choose NVIDIA, it doesn't mean that AMD GPUs are bad. Sometimes it just depends with the optimization. So I just wish, for me, what I can say is I just wish AMD can hold hands with these software companies and try and come up with solutions like the way NVIDIA has come up with NVENC, all these things. So because some of these things are just software, man. You see? So I just wanted to bring that across. But you, Andy, what do you have to say on NVIDIA GPUs?
Okay, I'd say anything works. If at the moment, like today, if somebody gives you an AMD GPU, honestly, just take it, because you won't find any other thing. Somebody gives you an NVIDIA GPU, just use it. Okay, application also comes into mind, but most of us here are gamers. Some guys are just indie gamers. If you're an indie gamer, almost anything will work.
But that's a very good point. Yeah, you need to also know what type of a gamer you are. Are you a first-person guy? Are you an open-world guy? Are you like a chess? Dude, chess, you don't... Fuck, man. Just go buy a laptop. So...
You also need to look at the type of game you're playing.
Yeah,
so some guys just get like these ray tracing graphics cards to play Minecraft with the ray tracing, and they're happy.
Nothing else.
Ray tracing with Minecraft is actually very interesting.
It looks really awesome. So
I think that ties into that point of software sometimes is also important. You need to figure out the software you're about to run on your computer. So because if you now say you're buying an RTX 3090 to play Fortnite, what's wrong with you, man? Like, dude, Fortnite is not even a demanding game. Valorant is not a demanding game. So
and Fortnite is mostly a CPU-based game, so you don't need like a very beefy graphics card to run Fortnite. It's just a CPU-based game.
So so like I think because just do some of this stuff. Do your research. Know what type of a gamer you are. If you plan to be like a heavy gamer, man, just AMD, NVIDIA. If you are casual, you can you can consult Andy for these questions. If you have like big questions, I think you can always consult Andy. You can always check around on the internet, Linus Tech Tips, Tech Quickie. Strategy for Andy Shuffle. How many days in a week are you shuffling? Would you say every day you're shuffling? Every day I'm shuffling.
That's a bad pun.
Slutty, come up with more creative jokes. Idiot. But I hope we've not confused you. Andy, do you have anything else to add on as I close the show?
Yeah, I guess most guys usually ask for I want to play a certain game. How many FPS will I get? So just stuff to take into consideration. What resolution will you be playing at? What graphic settings do you plan to play at? And like if you're competitive or just casual, you can just look at that. So for starting off, 1080p, low, medium settings, go for something like GTX 1650. On the AMD side, you can go for maybe an RX 570 or 570. Yeah, that would be good. And as you go higher, you want to put on more detail, maybe you can go for maybe a 1660 Ti, and maybe an 5700 XT. That is if you can get the card. That's 1080p gaming. You'll be comfortable at those 100, at least 144 if you have the monitor to support it, and you'll be good.
All right. Frankenstein, do you have anything to conclude?
Basically, I think when we're when you're putting all these things into consideration, just depends like what the person is going to do with the hardware that he has. Whether he wants to do like heavy gaming like Warzone, whether he wants to play something light like Minecraft. I think that just all sums it up. It's just what the person wants to do with the hardware that he's getting.
All right. So hopefully, I don't think I have like a lot of anything to add on to that, but yes. So you just make sure to do your research. If you're not comfortable, or if you don't like understand, if you're not tech savvy, consult and shuffle. Well, you can always ask.
Yeah.
There's no harm in asking people who actually know these things.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we've come to the end of the show. Andy, thanks for coming through. I'm sure we can always find another future topic for you to come. So yeah, go check Andy Shuffle. I think on Instagram he Shuffle PCs. So go check him out. Go check Linus Tech Tips out. I think Frankenstein streams. Go check his Twitch out. You can always communicate with these guys from Discord, from Instagram. So yeah, be sure to join our community from the link tree. The description is in the the description box below. So what else? Be sure to also snag yourself that free Skillshare premium.
Yeah, get the Skillshare and learn more.
Be sure to follow us on Twitch. Follow us on Veta.tv. Also listen to the podcast on your favorite listening platform. So follow us on Spotify so that we can get recommended. Follow us on Google. Follow us on iTunes. Give us a rating on any platform that allows you to rate the show. And yeah, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Share these videos on your WhatsApp, on your social medias. It helps. Share it helps to just get this content to newer viewers who might not know that the show exists. And yeah, man. I don't think I have anything else to say other than wait, I'm trying to the browser docs za Streamlabs zina misbehave hapa.
Yep.
Give me a sec. I need to end the show. And why they are saying no data. But yeah, nilikuwa shout out the people listening. So the people listening, I can see Sad Boy, Otaku Sensei. I think Otaku Sensei said is Jesse Jones. Houdini, what's up? I've never seen you at the show before. I think you came out. That was a long time ago. We have Mark also on the comment sections. We have Slutty. I think Slutty is a co-host. I think he's busy right now. But thank you all for coming to the stream. Just make sure to drop a like on the video, hit the subscribe button, and I should see you all in the next one. So peace out.
Yep.